Welcome once again to my channel. Viewers, my name is Sofosu Godwin, I'm a marketing professional and a marketing trainer. In today's video, we're going to be looking at how to spot fake influencers, right? How to spot fake influencers. Most often, brands tend to social media influencers. Like I said earlier on in my previous video, we have micro influencers and macro influencers. That's whereby micro is those from 1,000 to 100,000, and then macro those over 100,000. Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can, as a matter of fact, spot fake social media influencers or social media influencers with a red flag or with low credibility, so that you do not spend your advertising dollars on fake influencers, whereby you lose money or you end up communicating your brand to the wrong audience or not getting return on investment when it comes to social media influencer. So let's go. I'm going to show you what the red signs are or what the red flags are. It is quite simple. But before we go on, if you have not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and subscribe. Now, the first thing that I'm going to show you, or the first thing that I want you to know, is to look at followers to following ratio. Follower to following ratio. Analyze the ratio of the followers as to that of following. So either on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. It is important, as a matter of fact, to analyze the follower to following ratio. A very good social media influencer or a social media influencer with that brand voltage or a healthy follower to following ratio would, as a matter of fact, indicate authenticity. So it is important to ensure that you check the health of follower to following ratio. If the influencer has many followers, about 100,000, and then have only about 10, 20, 30 people or 100 people following that particular influencer, it might raise some red flags. The recommended should be a ratio of 3:1 or better. So if it's about 100,000, 1/3 of his followers should be in his following. This basically will actually signal to you that this particular influencer can carry your brand's message to the right audience. This is not to say that celebrities do this. Celebrities, for them, their issues or their situation is different. For example, sportsmen, musicians, movie actors, etc., and so on and so forth, and some influential people, right? For them, you realize that they have what we call referent power. According to French and Raven, they have what we call the referent power, which actually is all about people actually appreciating what they are doing and therefore resonating with them. But in most cases, it is important to analyze follower to following ratio to be able to understand the authenticity and the health of that particular social media account. The next thing I'm going to talk about is engagement rate, which a lot of experts or people within the social media marketing community looks up to, because it shows how your brand's message, as a matter of fact, or how the influencer's message, as a matter of fact, resonate with its following or with its community or audience. So it's also one of the key indicators of the viability of a specific social media influencer, as well as its authenticity. Engagement rate is simply about the average likes and comments and shares in relation to the person's follower or his community. So the average likes and comments, shares, etc. in relation to the particular social media influencers followers, right? So this is the engagement rate. Mostly a very good engagement rate usually ranges between 2 to 5%, but some school of thought will also take around 1%. As a matter of fact, some will even consider other factors. If, for example, the audience structure basically constitutes the kind of demographic variables that they want to reach out to. Some can go for about 1.0 or even 0.9 something. But mostly for the ideal engagement rate, it is between 2 to 5%. One tool that you can use to calculate the engagement rate of some of these social media influencers, especially on Instagram and TikTok, is what we call the Not Just Analytics. NJA can help you calculate the engagement rate. Engagement rate determines or shows the correlation between the content and how it resonates with the influencer's audience. This is very important. Another thing I'm going to talk about is to also look at unique and high quality content. They produce content that are original, content that really has some strategy. So take a look at their posts. If you find out that most of their posts, majority of their posts, are usually made up of stock photos copied from websites, etc., then this can also rate or raise red flags. Generic content. This is important. It is important to understand that the originality of the content that the content creator creates or the social media influencer creates also, as a matter of fact, can determine how, when you hire that particular influencer's services, your brand's message will be able to resonate with its audience. So look out for content quality. Another thing we're going to look out for here is consistency. And when I talk of consistency, I am not talking of posting 10 times a day or 5 times a day, or posting 3 times a week, or posting 10 times a week. We are talking of consistency as in the best and the drip. How often do they post? Because this maintains audience interest. So irregular posting can also raise some kind of credibility red flags. So look out for consistency. And there are times too, you also need to look out for consistency in terms of, as a matter of fact, posting too much for it to look spammy. Some influencers do post too much, and this might also look spammy. And you realize that sometimes habituation sets in. The audience or the followers become fed up with too much notifications, as a matter of fact. And then this could also affect your brand. So it is important to check and assess the frequency and the consistency of posting and how it resonates on the audience. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about is to make use of third-party tools to identify fake followers. Yes, there are fake followers. There are platforms where people can buy fake followers. There are agencies that sell fake followers using robots or bots. One tool that I recommend is Hype Auditor. You can try or use the service of Hype Auditor to uncover fake followers or to uncover bot followers, right? These are robots that are used to show up as followers, and so you might think of that particular influencer has so much followers. But you should think of, like I talk about quality and quantity. Quality is also very important. And I also talk about in my previous video that There are micro influencers who usually doesn't even have much followers but have content that resonates with their audience or are able to resonate with their audience. This is very important. And as a matter of fact, it is important for any business, especially for small business, linking up with social media influencers. This is very important. Another thing you also need to look out for is audience interaction and comments. Right? Look out for the meaningfulness of the comments that appear. Not every comment is meaningful. Vet the comments. And one good thing about social media is that it is transparent. You can have access to that particular social media influencer's account and be able, as a matter of fact, to vet comments and conversations. Check the comments for authenticity and also look out for spammy content and bad or should I say black hat fake engagements. Yes, there are fake engagements as well. So it is important to look out for this. Another thing I'm going to talk about is look out for transparency in their sponsored content. Genuine influencers will always, as a matter of fact, disclose that it is a paid partnership or it's a sponsored partnership. So they would ensure that they label the particular content as paid partnership or sponsored content. If this is absent in a social media influencers account, then you have to be cautious and look further. You have to be cautious and look further. It is important, as a matter of fact, to also look out for unusual spikes in their likes and shares. Sometimes you see a content hit out and many likes appearing within a very short possible time. This could be suspected. I'm not saying it is always, but it could be suspected to be a robot activity, right? So it is important to ensure that you look out for bot activities or robot automated engagement. This might also include looking out for spike in followers or engagement within a specific period of time. That is not to say that spikes do happen. I have seen brands, I have seen social media influencers having spikes in their followership as a result of a particular content that goes viral or that really resonates, right? So that is not an issue here, but you also need to look out for that as well. It is one of the things that you also need to be cautious about. The next thing I'm going to talk about is to do verification. It is important to do verification, and there are third-party influencer verification services and tools out there. There are numerous of them that you can take advantage of. This can provide data on, for example, the authenticity of some of these so-called social media influencers as well. So there are verification services, like I talk about Hype Auditor, which is also very powerful a tool as well. So it is important to, as a matter of fact, look through all these points that I'm talking about, and you will be able to, as a matter of fact, spot fake social media influencer, or you're able to separate social media influencers that might not let you achieve your objectives from those that are the right choice. So it is important. But before we go, there are two other things that I also want you to take into consideration. directly contacting the influencer for information. It is important. Any genuine influencer will be open to have direct communication and discussions with you. They are open about their insights, their metrics, and then their clientele base. Also, it is also important to also do what we call cross-referencing. Ensure that you check all their platforms, even though you might be engaging them for, say, Instagram or Twitter, X, etc. It is important to check all their other platforms, right? This will give you an idea of their level of credibility and authenticity and the kind of quality that they offer. Thank you very much for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and subscribe.